LST podcast. But before we do that, let me go back to Twitch. I want to just mention to everyone out there listening, which is no one right now, but that's okay, that if you want to support the COVID-19 literature surveillance team in the reporting process, you can go to anchor.fm/COVID-19LST/support. And here it'll bring you the window where you can listen to us on Spotify. You can send us a message, find all of our unique social media links, and of course support us. In that process, have a monthly contribution, or you can go to our Patreon, I believe it's what it's called, and donate one time. Anyway, enough about that. Let's go back to editing.
The report for November 5th, 2020. Understanding the pathology. Do childhood vaccinations help protect against SARS-CoV-2? A team of Egyptian virologists inoculated mice with common childhood vaccinations, BCG, pneumococcal, rotavirus, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, hepatitis B, Haemophilus influenza, meningococcal, measles, mumps, and rubella, and found no evidence of cross-reacting antibodies against SARS-CoV-2 in serum up to 7 weeks post-vaccination, suggesting that if childhood vaccines provide protection against SARS-CoV-2, it may not be antibody-mediated.
So we gotta get that jingle out.
Mediated.
Transmission and prevention. How often are discharged patients retesting positive for SARS-CoV-2? A review of 62 studies evaluating the recurrence of SARS-CoV-2 viral RNA in discharged COVID-19 patients found that the proportion of patients with positive RT-PCR ranged from 2.4% to 69.2% across studies.
Oh my God, 69% of people who test positive for COVID-19 test positive again. Jeez.
Studies occurring from 1 to 38 days after discharge, which was attributed to the false negative test prior to discharge, false positive tests following discharge, reinfection, reactivation, and intermittent viral shedding.
Wow.
Adjusting
shedding.
Adjusting practice during COVID-19. What treatment options should physicians consider for patients with psoriasis?
Did you hear that? Patients. We got those poppin' peas.
For patients.
So fun fact about the popping peas is that before windbreakers, I would say like broadcast media in like the 70s and 80s, you'd see announcers, like TV announcers, and they would physically take their microphone and they would move it. They'd kind of like move it to the side, each or every side, left and right, to make sure when they say a word that has a P or an emphasis of a P in a pronunciation of a word, the microphone wouldn't pick it up and therefore become a popping P. So yeah, you can go look that up. It's pretty cool. I mean, you can watch old broadcasters go like this. It's hilarious.
For pay.
And so because they were trained to do that, you have broadcasters that were trained in the 80s, continue their careers in the 90s when windbreakers were then created, and they're still doing that, and they have these nice windbreakers. I'm talking like $150 windbreakers. It's crazy.
For patients with psoriasis. Following a literature review, dermatologists from Iran recommended not starting immunosuppressive drugs for psoriatic patients due to an increased risk of acquiring COVID-19, and instead encourage initiating and continuing low-risk immunomodulation drugs for a safer modality.
Just a safe bet.
R&D,
Yep.
diagnosis and treatments. A retrospective study conducted by various medical institutions in Tehran, India, investigated 73 subjects with confirmed COVID-19 and found a mean serum vitamin D concentrations were significantly lower in the deceased when compared to discharged patients, and higher 25 OHD levels were associated with less extensive lung involvement, suggesting a potential correlation between vitamin D status and clinical course, the extent of lung involvement, and patient outcome in COVID-19. What potential therapies exist to improve the immune reconstitution and decrease cytokine storm in COVID-19 patients? A literature review conducted by hematologists in China assessed delayed immune reconstitution and cytokine storm as obstacles in COVID-19 recovery due to the delicate balance between strengthening and inhibiting the immune response at appropriate times, while also observing kinetic changes of lymphocytes and cytokines to guide rational therapies. Their findings suggest that immune reconstitution could potentially be improved with thymosin alpha-1 while adoptive COVID-19 patient while adoptive COVID-19 patient
It's okay.
While adoptive COVID-19 specific T cells and cytokine storm may be suppressed with convalescent plasma,
So it looks like we have one viewer right now, which is awesome. But feel free to drop anything in the chat, in the DMs. I will answer any questions you have related to audio or editing or podcasting or radio, anything like that. Feel free to ask, or maybe it's not related and it's just random. I can answer pretty much anything, I think. Hopefully.
IL-6 blockade, mesenchymal stem cells, and corticosteroids.
All right. So we're going to take the out, Command A, Command V.
Corticosteroids. Continue to.
Oh, we need the will thing. Yeah, okay. So we're going to do highlight. Command C. Oh, we're going to undo that. You know what we need? We need a little bit more space.
Steroids.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed with.
So then we're going to drag it all the way back to the beginning. Go back to our intro. Command A, Command C. Command V. We have to edit. some noise restoration. Click pop eliminator. Apply.
Welcome back to the
Perfect.
Jasmine Rob.
Bringing you the highlights from our newest report. The report.
Perfect. So we're gonna go to multi-track. We're just gonna name it that because whatever. Here's our bed. Here's this guy. Okay, so we're gonna push the volume a little bit up. We want 2.3 decibels sounds good to me. But we have to bring this all the way down. We're gonna do, I think, negative 30 decibels.
Understanding of pathology. For November 5th, report.
Put some keynotes down.
The report for November 5th, 2020. Understanding the pathology. Do childhood vaccinations
So what we're doing is we're just removing the sound bed from the jingle. Sound goofy. And we're doing that with keynotes. Oh, undo. There we go.
What potential therapy?
So now we're going to take the sound again and we're going to overlap it just like that. I have to bring down the decibels again. There we go.
As obstacles in COVID-19 recovery due to the delicate balance between strengthening and inhibiting the immune response at appropriate times, while also observing kinetic changes of lymphocytes and cytokines to guide rational therapies. Their findings suggest that immune reconstitution could potentially be improved with thymosin alpha-1, while adoptive COVID-19 specific cells.
There we go.
That immune reconstitution.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
IL-6 blockade, mesenchymal stem cells, and corticosteroids.
That's all for today. Thanks for
Continue.
Okay, so then we're going to go to File, Export, Multi-Track Mixdown, Entire Session. We're going to name it as 11.5 Final. We want it wave, 32-bit, 4400 hertz stereo, and boom. And then we'll move on to the next one, and then we'll be done. How long is... Oh, we still got that one person. It's been 14 minutes. Again, if you would like to say anything, ask a question, comment, concern, maybe about my process, drop a message in the chat bar below, and I will answer it.
The report for November 6, 2020. The report for November 6, 2020.
Epidemiology. How effective are public health measures such as quarantine in decreasing viral spread? An extended susceptible infected recovered or SIR model to estimate the case rate mortality or CFR of COVID-19 in Wuhan and the rates of infection, recovery, and death globally revealed an estimated case fatality rate of 4.4% and an estimated quarantine effect against transmission of 99.3%, highlighting the importance of adherence to public health quarantine policies in decreasing viral spread during this pandemic.
Understand.
Gonna use that jingle. Oh, undo. That was not the jingle.
Understanding the pathology. What is the duration of SARS-CoV-2 antibodies in plasma after symptom onset?
I have no idea.
Infectious disease researchers from China studied the prevalence of anti-SARS-CoV-2 specific antibodies in 52 convalescent COVID-19 patients from 159 blood samples from 1 to 6 months after symptom onset, and found a positive rate of IgG at 92.3% and IgM at 90.4% in the first month, and continuously high IgG but downtrending IgM antibodies throughout the convalescent phase, suggesting retainment of anti-SARS-CoV-2 IgG antibodies up to at least 6 months post-infection.
And to help you adjust your practice during this pandemic, cardiac rehabilitation specialists in Providence, Rhode Island
I've always wanted to go to Rhode
conducted.
Island. I feel like it'd be kind of cool. Cold, but on the ocean, lighthouses, crabs. I feel like the crab cakes there are probably really good.
A retrospective study after initiating a transitional home-based cardiac, pulmonary, or vascular rehabilitation treatment plan for 129 patients between April 6th and May 27, 2020, and found that about 90% of patients were receptive to participating in at-home rehabilitation services, and that 70% were responsive to follow-up progress tracking by telephone, suggesting home-based treatment is a viable option for treatment centers restricting in-person treatments during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Awesome. Alright, so we're gonna go to outro. Command C. Command V. Oh, I forgot it again, the will thing. Command C.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed with the
Intro. Command A. Oh, no. No. Intro. Command C. Grab this guy all the way there. Boom. Command V. Awesome. Apply. So now we're going to go to multi-track. We're going to go to File, New, Multi-track Session. Doesn't matter what you name it, in my opinion. We'll take the track we just edited, the bed that we're going to use. And if you're curious about the beds that I'm using, I will leave a link in the bio. Because they're all royalty-free, copyright-friendly.
The report for November 6th, 2020.
Epidemiology. How effective are public health? Some treatments during the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed.
Alright. So then we're just going to do File, Export, Multi-track Mixdown, Entire Session. We're going to call this one 11_6 Final. A wave, of course, again, 4400 hertz stereo, 32-bit. Awesome. Alright, so again, if you are at all with the COVID-19 literature surveillance team's research, dedication, and like that, I encourage you to bring it back up, everyone. I encourage you to go to anchor.fm/COVID-19 LST/support. And there you can listen to us on Spotify, support us with a monthly payment, message us, or find all of our unique social media links. Go ahead and take a look at that, and I appreciate it. And that's all. Have a good one, everyone.